Radio Arcane.
Dark, eclectic music.
Welcome to Radio Arcane, the podcast, number 10, 4AD Classic Special. Here with special guest Gary Basil Bromley from Dif Juz. I'm Brian Drabant.
I'm Sarah Vomit.
I'm Kaleidoscope.
I'm Motuvius Rex.
And I'm Mr. Bromley.
Right.
Gary Bromley. You can call me.
Yeah, Gary Bromley sounds good.
Gary.
It's good.
Gary Basil, Gary Bromley.
Basil. Yeah.
Basil.
You
we
go
go.
by Basil? Is that what you normally go by?
That's my nickname.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Basil's good.
Basil is good.
You can call me Gary. I don't mind because my mum called me Gary. So.
Basil was my grandfather's name, so
No shit.
it's easy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So we started off there with the Modern English 16 Days. Is that 1980, 81?
81, I think. Yep.
Starting off with the 4AD bands tonight. I'm not even sure what we're going to play. We're going to just play it by ear.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we didn't talk to you even before we started, Basil. But I was considering playing No Motion just because I feel like that was a song that people might not have heard that they might like. But the thing is that was the one that got overplayed, and you might be like, puke, I don't want to play that one. I want to play something else. Yeah.
Which one would you like to hear?
It's okay. You can play that.
No, you play the which
That's the
Which one?
iconic.
it's like it's definitely the one you had the video for, and like I know you've
You could play. It's up to you. You do what you like.
no, I mean I like Echo Rec. I like there's a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to keep it.
HU was Ivo's favorite song.
Which one?
HU.
Okay.
Okay.
That was the first when I first got involved in Dif Juz because they had a different bass player before me for probably about 6 to a year, and that was one of the tapes they gave me when they gave me a tape of the band.
Mm-hmm.
That was HU was one of the songs from on that tape that I first heard.
Okay.
But I changed the bass line to
That's how it goes, man.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same with the Kentucky Vampires. When they send me stuff, I change the bass line because you got to be you.
yeah, that's right.
Yep,
Everybody has their own carbon footprint.
that's correct.
Indeed.
So even the old songs sound a little different.
Yeah.
Different is good.
But you can HU I really like because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like straight to the point, and you know.
Yeah, sounds good, man. That's why we're asking you. You know, you were there.
This is true.
I was a teenager and I adored. I mean, I was totally in love with the 4AD label, including the artwork. I mean, 23 envelope and just the whole everything about it.
Me too. Yeah.
But tonight, I think we are going to go through some of the, I guess, noisier beginnings too. You know, Birthday Party.
Yeah.
Some of the other bands.
Did a couple of shows with
In
them.
camera or mass or
Yeah, we can do some of that
play
too.
some Axis stuff like Fast Set.
Well,
I love Fast Set.
yeah, we can go anywhere we want to.
And I'm sure we'll get, Dead Can Dance and Cocteau Twins.
We're definitely going to hit. That's the classic '80s Dead Can Dance and Cocteau Twins
For sure.
Which Cocteau Twins are you playing?
I think we decided Brian liked Tinderbox, and I think that is a really great. Head Over Heels is a good album to highlight there. I mean, I think a lot of people have heard Garland's
For sure.
and then I think they've also heard some of their more pop-friendly radio stuff. And I think, I think Head Over Heels was more.
It's a bit raw, I mean,
Yeah.
as was Garland's too. But yeah, for sure, had a bit of a raw edge. And at that point, I think Will Heggie was gone.
Will Heggie was gone
at that point.
Simon was not in it.
It's not in it. Exactly.
So it was all just Robin and Liz.
Yep. Right. So,
but it's a great album, and probably one that hasn't been overplayed as bad. It's a tough thing picking songs sometimes. Like even when we're you guys know because you're DJs,
right?
And you have to play some things that people know or they won't they won't listen.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's the education versus playing the nostalgia, I guess, to a degree. So
right. So we want to hit on the familiar some, but we don't want to do burnt out tracks, I guess, if we can.
Yeah, but we'll get some gems in there. The Tones on Tail had one release, I think, on 4AD.
They did.
They're just their Tones on Tail EP, so we'll play something off that.
Right on.
Let's get back to you, Basil. I mean, maybe if you want to start talking about some of the early beginnings and kind of how things kind of came together for you guys.
I guess we started playing around London in about 1980, and I joined the band through because I knew Alan Curtis, one of the brothers from Dif Juz, from going to see his punk band, and then I saw him one day in a Beggars Banquet record shop, and he said they were looking for a bass player, and I'd been playing bass for about 2 or 3 years with nothing real serious. I played in a punk band, and all I knew to do on the bass was play the open E string. So I got stories about that as well. But,
we're all ears.
Anyway, but to cut a long story short, I ended up joining Dif Juz, and we started playing around London bars and clubs and that, and we took our demo to Rough Trade. We took our demo to EG Records, Eno's label, and both those labels said, Rough Trade and EG Records said we needed a singer, which is kind of weird from EG Records, which was Eno's label, being he was doing ambient stuff.
Yeah, right.
Without a singer. And but then we took it to 4AD, and 4AD got kind of rejected by them. I think it might have been Peter Kent, who was the initial listener to it. So then a little while after we got a manager, and our manager took it back to 4AD, and Ivo said he wanted to release it. So that was Hugh Remix.
Is that the first 12-inch?
Yeah.
One?
Yeah. And I guess it went on from there.
So you're pronouncing it HU or just Hugh?
HU.
HU?
What it is I think we made it up from all our last names.
Uh-huh.
And it's all the letters from all our last names. And it had 8 tracks. 4 tracks on it. So we split it up into HUREMICS.
Okay.
So it's like the Huremic represents our last names, but it was all, it was a word we made from the letters of our last names.
I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And we weren't really into names, we were into music, When it came to naming stuff, we waited till the last minute when we done the record, so it's the same as Vibrating Air, Vibrating Air was the meaning of sound, which was music, like music being the sound, but we called it Vibrating Air. And then I'm trying to maybe my memory's not so good nowadays. I think I got early Alzheimer's. So. Well, you don't look that old. I'm trying to think where we got the words from for the titles on the Vibrating Air, and I can't remember. Maybe that was the surnames. I can't remember.
Usually, I just move away from it and then I think of it.
Yeah.
It'll come to you.
Yeah.
I have that problem all the time. Ask all the other DJs. What song was that?
I'll do that as well.
Like, ask me in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So you were sort of touring around a bit, landed that first 12-inch, and started putting out some. I think you had a few EPs out before you actually put out the first full length.
Well, we did those two 12-inches Humanics and Vibrating Air, and we were playing around London. Didn't really go out of London much, and this was in '81. And then we wanted to get away from the. I mean, looking back on it, this is the way we felt. We wanted to get away from being classed as a 4AD band, because 4AD was just developing, and we, Factory was another label as well that was pretty big at the time.
Sure.
But we didn't want to be known as a 4AD band. We wanted to be known as a Dif Juz, not a Dif Juz the 4AD band, or
Right.
the 4AD band Dif Juz.
You wanted your autonomy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to get Ivo to fund us money to start our own label. Well, him to pay for everything, but to be honest,
guessing that didn't work out so well.
and have our own name, our own label, but it'd be on 4AD.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But we called the label what we wanted to call it. And he wasn't into that. So.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
So we went off and did a mini album with a label called Red Flame.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of their records from other bands, like Ritual. They're like a classic goth band. They did like
On Red Flame?
Mind Disease 7-inch, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they did all kinds of stuff.
Their most famous stuff was Carmel. Have you heard of that?
Not sure. What
It's
band?
Carmel. It was like a singer.
I don't know. I think I know that.
You stumped him. Oh my gosh.
Shocked.
I know like
Totally shocked.
You win.
stuff on the label, but it's like if it falls outside that, I'm like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was kind of poppy.
yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't listen
What's
to
his
it.
prize, Sean? He deserves a prize.
More beer.
More beer, please. Jeez.
So we did that, and then our luck was kind of like not so good because we were like playing, but we weren't really getting anywhere. And we played a show. It was during the day, and it was like on Oxford Street in London. And we were walking around, and we saw two people, and it was the Cocteau Twins. So they said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And all that. We said, "We're playing down the road." And I said, "Oh, we'll come and we'll see you play." And apparently they were big fans of ours anyway. So we,
Had they signed to the label yet at this time? Or?
yeah, they were on 4AD. Yeah, this was about 83, 84.
So they were new.
Yeah. And they came down there, and then that started off our relationship with them because they asked us to play a show at Elizabeth Hall on the South Bank. It's like big classical music concert hall.
Oh, shit.
And so we went and played with them, and that was pretty awesome. And it was awesome playing in a place like that because the acoustics are so
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
And they sounded really good as well. So I think that's when we started getting more contact with Ivo again. And we did a new album. Well, before that we went on tour with them on a Treasure tour. and we toured like England and Scotland, playing like big concert halls and classical music concert halls, which was really good. So when we came back from that, we went and recorded Extractions in Scotland.
Yeah.
And
there's some collaboration production-wise, obviously, on that. And Liz Fraser sang on that track.
Yeah, and we recorded music, and she come and listened to it and sang on it on one track, Love Insane.
Yep.
And then Robin was, doing the mixing and everything, along with Dave and all of us. And see, something you got to realise was when we were doing this stuff back then and doing Euromix and Vibrating Air, people liked us. I mean, there was a crowd that would used to come and see us, but we weren't very big. Mm-hmm. And now, over the years, with the advancements of internet and stuff like that,
so many bands now.
Well, I think you guys were ahead of your time too. I mean,
Yes.
Clearly.
And so when you say not very big, what do you mean by that? Like,
well, we play places and there'd be like 2 or 3 people there,
3?
Yeah, 2 or 3 people.
Wow. Yeah.
that makes us not feel so bad.
Yeah, we feel really good.
So, I mean,
I wouldn't with a lot of bands.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we're all friends with like Mick Mercer on Facebook and Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
And he posts photographs all the time. I think we were talking about that with Texby.
Right.
It's like a lot of these people think that a lot of the bands that they look at the 80s were like playing arenas and stuff.
And
they were just playing little venues like Highland Tap Room.
Right.
Like tiny little bars and stuff.
we played a place in Croydon with Walking Press, and I think Clan of Simons played as well. And we played a lot of shows with us 3 on the bill, and we take turns of headlining, different orders and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there was probably like 10 people there, man.
Wow.
That's insane. I mean,
I know.
Because I grew up worshiping all of you.
I know.
All of you.
Like-
But I when I was younger, 1993, I lived in Chicago, and that was my year to experience like the reality of a lot of the music that I liked, and that's where I started DJing. But like I made friends with some people up there, and I met a lot of people, and Charles Levi, the bass player from Through a Kill Cult, like slept on our couch and stuff.
Wow.
And I knew they were on MTV, so I was thinking they were just like rich.
Yeah, no.
It's like no.
They were just a little bit famous.
It's like he's having a crash on our couch. They're not. They're not rich.
That's great.
But yeah, like I totally just assumed everybody was big time, and but I think you guys, a lot of those bands are definitely idolized now, and that's kind of cool. I do think it's just because you were ahead of your time.
Yeah, I remember someone saying back then that we were like 20 years ahead of our time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think it's true.
Totally.
And especially to be instrumental, you have to be powerfully interesting to be instrumental if you don't have the vocal to catch some cute person to even like be the front person that everybody identifies with.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard to. I mean, even though there's always been instrumental music, but I guess we were considered indie or whatever back then, and I mean they changed it to post-punk and stuff like that, but it was hard to be an instrumental band back then because there wasn't that. Everybody wanted to hear a singer, but we thought, like when people said to us, well, why haven't you got a singer? And we said, but that's because it's all been said. I mean, I always said it's always been said before. Everything's been said,
Nothing's new, yeah.
But you had some contemporaries back then. I was talking with Sean earlier about this, and you mentioned Factory Records and Drudy Column, obviously.
Oh yeah,
and also I think pretty interesting and different, and were instrumental, and had some success with Factory, and also I feel like has sort of in this day and age had some cult following, as have you. So
yeah. I think they actually got more. They worked out better for them, but I don't know. The guitarist was pretty simple, the classical kind of training, because Dave Curtis was was taught classically, so his sounding on guitar and guitar playing was similar to Vinnie Riley's. But there's most bands, you know, had singers. So like I said, E.G. Records and Rough Trade were like, "Where's your singer?" You know.
And you're like, sorry, fuck off. We don't have
Yeah.
one, so we're our own thing, you know.
And you're like, right here.
The guitar work on it is great, though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the drum. I mean, all of it is just. I mean, it's intricate stuff. Like
Very much so.
Some of it, you know, I don't. When the music's really interesting, sometimes there's nowhere to sing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you almost have to pause in a way for.
And I really
singers.
wish, some of the stuff we did in rehearsals where it wasn't like when we would jam and stuff, you know, I mean, some of that stuff was amazing. And I think there are some tapes out there, I think that Richie has some, but some of that was more amazing than I thought, than what we played, you know.
Yeah.
We turned into pieces
Records.
of music.
Yeah.
Put that shit
sure.
on Bandcamp.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't own any copies.
Yeah.
so,
Well, contact them.
yeah.
We'll release that shit.
Yes, we will.
Well, it's like I was talking to
Yeah. Brian.
Brian, sorry, Brian.
No, you're fine.
On the way here, and he was talking about the Lee Perry stuff that we do with Lee Scratch Perry, and I always found that I've been trying for years to try and get that released, but because two of the Dif Juz are missing now, I don't know if you know about that. Well, we can't release do any reissues or any releases because two of David and Alan Curtis are both missing, and nobody knows where they are.
Oh, wow.
What?
They're done a Sid Barrett, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
they don't know where they have.
Like, literally just, like, off the grid. Fucking
Pretty much,
who knows?
yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
And
Wild.
It's all the paparazzi.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
They had no privacy.
I don't know why they did it.
So they intentionally just disappeared. Just
For some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But they got theories
How
of
long,
where they
how long's
might
it been?
be. 10 or 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. And so, because...
I had contact with them for about 10 or 15 years ago, but I lost contact with them. But,
they're probably in like Borneo or.
well, they said they live on
America.
the south coast of England.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So
Yeah.
they're still in England.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
but they
just
could be
dropped
dead
off.
for I know. 'cause
Wow. Wow.
So without them, you can't do anything until there's a confirmation of some sort.
yeah,
Yeah.
And he was mentioning also
legal.
Legal. That's
legal
what I meant.
stuff,
Like,
and they never drew up a contract. You were saying for that particular recording with Lee Scratch Perry.
Yeah, there was never a contract, but I think 4AD could release it, but because of legal aspects of like they could be sued over it.
Yeah. Yeah. If
if it was released without any.
wow.
agreement on everybody's part, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate, because I'm
That is
sure
very
it was amazing.
unfortunate.
You were saying it was, you know, pretty fucking amazing.
I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that one for like 87 or so. Like there's one that apparently y'all recorded a session that's like 4AD has it, but they won't release it.
That's it.
Yeah.
With Lee Scratch Perry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The music's really good. I mean, it's the vocals. I mean, just Lee Scratch Perry ranting, but you know.
He's a character, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty funny, dude.
He's pretty funny dude. I've seen several interviews with him. He seems like a total character.
I mean, I'm a big fan of his Black Ark stuff. So it's, you know, I mean, I don't think he ever reached those heights ever again. But,
Yeah.
I mean, he is really famous now.
For sure. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff. He's produced a lot of cool shit. I mean, that Congos record, and I mean, he's in some interesting stuff. I mean, although I know you mentioned you felt like that the record, as much as you liked it, could have been a bit more dubby.
Yeah, I think if it ever got released, it should be because Robin Guthrie was the engineer on it.
Oh shit. Okay.
But he was more into sounds of guitars rather than dubbing stuff out. You know.
Sure. That seems like his forte.
Yeah, I mean that's what's it.
Loads of effects.
I mean, he's good at that.
Oh yeah, man. No doubt.
Yeah, I think it should have been dubbed out more.
Yeah.
Like either got Adrian Sherwood or Mad Professor to do something. And if it got released, then there should be different mixes of it and stuff like that. But
So both Curtis brothers, both are gone.
Well, we don't know where they are.
But that's just crazy.
That is crazy.
Into the black hole.
Of the south coast of England.
At the south coast of
I
England.
figured you did. Yeah.
Sounds idyllic.
It does, doesn't it? They I was going to say they have theories of where they might live, but they're not sure. I heard that one theory was Alan lives in a caravan, which is like a trader or something.
Sure, yeah.
And just totally doesn't talk to anybody.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, well.
Has there been a private investigator or anything like that on it? Because I'm almost ready to hire one so you can release it.
Right. Seriously.
And I've heard nothing about Dave Curtis. I know Dave Curtis got married again.
Okay.
He was married for a little bit to Annie Anxiety. I don't know if you know who that is.
yeah.
So Alan was the one that was involved briefly with Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that whole story? I mean, if you can elaborate on that whole story.
Before Dif Juz, so he moved this is before Dif Juz. He moved from London to Birmingham. That's where Duran Duran was formed, and they were playing a lot and starting to get big, and they got new management, which was like Birmingham Mafia. And they fired the drummer, which was Alan's best mate. And this is a story I got from Alan.
And this is before Duran Duran was actually Duran Duran. Like, I guess they were, but like...
No, they were called Duran Duran, I think.
Okay. But it wasn't the lineup that got famous, I guess, because...
I'm not sure. I think John Taylor and...
John and Nick Rhodes were original too.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether Simon Bon was in it.
Right.
So, what happened? Anyway, they fired Alan's best mate, the drummer.
Okay.
And then they said, everybody should wear suits and we're going to make it big and all that. And so Alan didn't want a part of that, and he saw it was like this mafia sort of thing going on. So he left and went back to London, ran away from it, and because he was scared that he was going to get killed or something. I don't know why, but
so like Rum Runner.
I mean, Birmingham Mafia doesn't sound exactly,
Well, but I mean, I've worked for a lot of clubs. The club I worked at in Chicago was definitely run by Mafia.
Yeah.
I mean,
you mentioned that
a
to me.
lot of clubs, Mafia run is not uncommon.
For sure.
It's a big money laundering business.
yeah.
I obviously wasn't around in England.
Well, it always has been.
Right, but that was Rum Runner was the name of the
That's it.
club.
Yeah.
So I also have read that Gordon Sharp, who was another 4AD member, Cindy Talk, who was also originally supposed to be the first singer of Duran Duran. Can you imagine how different Duran Duran would have sounded with Gordon Sharp and Alan Curtis?
That would have been interesting.
It would have been a totally different band.
That first Cindy Talk LP is like fucking dark.
Yeah.
just hung out with Gordon Sharp last year in Detroit, actually. Yeah.
Well, so all of you guys from that time, everybody's living in America now? I know Gordon's in Ohio, right?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Or is it? I think he lives in America.
I think you're right. I don't know about if it's Ohio or not.
Columbus
It
or
might be.
something.
It might be. You might be right about that.
Yeah. And you said Ivo lives in New Mexico?
Yeah, in the desert.
Yeah.
With his dogs.
Right on.
He's got a bunch of dogs, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, he does something with photography or something. He works for... I don't know if he owns his own photography.
It would make sense. I mean, the graphic design on all that 4AD stuff was awesome. And I know he was part of at least choosing some of that. I know it was 23 Envelope were different people, but...
Yeah. Actually, someone from 23 Envelope did. I was in a band here in Louisville called The Children.
Yeah.
And someone... I can't remember the guy. O'Donnell, is it? Last name? Does that ring a bell?
Local? or from?
No, he's like from 23 Envelope, but not from the classic days. But he did the cover design for it.
Cool.
And we had it was a like album that we did of here and there and bits and bobs that we released on this label called Division 68, I think, which was a guy up in Canada who's like a big 4AD fan.
I mean, most of the period that I'm familiar with on that would have been the 80s for sure, more than what they're doing now.
Yeah. But back to
Should we cue up another song?
yeah.
Yeah, right. Do you still talk with Richard Thomas?
I was, but I lost contact with
You lost
him.
contact with him
And he
too,
just
yeah.
did an album with Simon.
Yeah, and I know he did some work on Cocteau Twins Victoria Land as well, I want to say.
He's done a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah. Okay.
So 4AD branched out of Beggar's Banquet, though.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
correct.
I used to go to Beggar's Banquet a lot because there was one in my neighbourhood where I used to buy records from, and that's how I knew Ivo as well. So,
Okay.
and I worked for them as well. Have you heard of the punk band The Lurkers?
Mm-hmm.
But they had a free single out on one of their records that they had out, and I put labels on it for a day.
No shit.
That was my job. I was like 15 years old and put labels on each fleshy disc.
It makes me think back to something about Rudy Column, and we're reading the story about Joy Division. The members of Joy Division, that original album they put out, there's like a sandpaper cover on that, and they were all affixing the sandpaper to the labels from that. Yeah. And those records are rare. I mean, that particular original release with a sandpaper cover, they're really, they could go for big money in Discogs. But anyways,
I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure the fleshy disc as well, man.
yeah.
I could have took a handful of them then.
And you mentioned that the early days you all were lucky to have 3-4 people at a show.
Yeah.
So what for you was the turning point, like when you started to notice more followers and better record sales?
I guess when we played with Cocteau Twins, things got a bit better for us because we played like shows with All Came Prayers and They Can Dance, and it's like, I think about maybe after Abstractions came out, it got a bit better. In when we played those multi-band shows and more people came out, record sales, I mean, it's never really been good, you know, so I mean, we steadily sold over the years, but it's nothing like maybe the Cocteau Twins, because Cocteau Twins really was like 4AD's biggest band, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they pretty much made 4AD, I think. Playing shows with them was pretty cool because it gave us good exposure or whatever.
Yeah, you had her sing on a track too.
Yeah, Love
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the tour that you went on with them. That was in just England and Scotland, or
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, I mean, I've had issues with mental illness, so it's like, it came on more stronger as I was first diagnosed with mental illness in 21, when I was 21. And then, at the end of playing with Dif Juz, it got pretty bad. I couldn't continue any longer, so I had to quit the band. And they went on tour of Europe and stuff, and without me, and they got Scott Rogers to play bass, but all the bass lines were wrote by me. But then they went on tour. This is probably about 86, 87, maybe a bit later, and they slept on floors in cars and stuff like that. And I think Dave Curtis got ill, and they said it wasn't the same to have him without me there, and that's when they kind of disbanded. About 87, 88. And see, when we played with Cocteau Twins on a Treasure tour, we stayed in really nice hotels, which was pretty good, dude. We didn't make any money. We weren't paid any money. All we were given was food and board.
That's it.
And alcohol.
Yeah.
At least there's that.
Yeah.
A good time.
Some things haven't changed.
Yeah, no, they haven't really.
Fucking bad.
Play for beer,
Yeah.
I read about a story where you guys, like that Cocteau Twins, are like sort of like mooning, like putting your bum.
Oh, what'd you hear that, man?
He knows everything.
Where'd you read that, dude?
Oh, it's in a book. I
Oh,
can't remember what it's called.
The 4AD book. It's
Oh, okay. Facing the wrong way, I was saying.
yeah.
Yeah. Me and Richie like to moon people.
That's awesome.
And we played Sadler's Wells, and it's like a ballet kind of like classical theatre. Mm-hmm. And just before we went on, we stuck our asses underneath the curtain.
Yeah.
And then we got a few giggles.
Yes. And that's what I was going to ask you is like, what are your favorite memories from touring?
Well, Liz used to dedicate every song to us at some places, and
No shit.
Yeah, this one's for Dif Juz, and we played Leeds one night, Leeds University, and I kind of had a crush on Liz, so. But I couldn't do anything obviously because she was married to
Robin.
Yeah.
Robin. Yeah. And I guess a lot of people had a crush on Liz anyway, and still do.
I would imagine. I did, so.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
she dedicated every song one night in Leeds to us, and I was like, oh man, I couldn't handle it, and I was crying about it. I was up in the back of the place on this couch crying.
Aww.
So I felt really, and I've always had a problem with social anxiety. So
Here.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one, man. Big time. So
Yeah, we can all relate.
and I always feel like I'm an outcast, and I still do.
Yeah.
And I'm 56, and I still feel like I'm marginalised and an outcast and isolated and stuff like that. All the main things,
I think that a lot of people in this room can probably relate to that. I mean, seriously, for sure. So I think such is being an artist, and
Yeah.
You mean you're not a regular member of Southeast Christian?
No. Because they want your social security number, man.
Yeah.
I'm not giving them
No.
Tonight's episode brought to you by Coors Light.
Coors Light.
Right. Yeah.
Delicious Coors Light. Thank you,
Yeah, I
Coors.
guess we need to do that too.
What are you doing there?
She's drinking tequila.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You drink beer?
Sun King.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Yum.
Sorry, I can't join you, but
Oh, no.
No,
you're all
it's
right.
great.
Yeah.
Diet Coke is good.
Yes.
yeah, it's good.
We're punishing our bodies with alcohol, so,
Yeah. Not too much though.
I take like 11 bloody pills a day, dude.
Yeah, that'll make you not be able
I'm
to.
fully corporate, dude.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yep. I'm also on the regimen myself, so. All right. You guys want to take a pause and maybe play a track or two?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So
Hit that story.
hit that story. So you
Oh, the birthday party.
yeah, birthday party.
Well, we played a couple shows with them. The first one we played was at Heaven. It was a club, it was a gay club in London, and I guess they were on last. We were on first, and I didn't have a bass amp, so for some reason I didn't have one to take with me or anything. Well, we thought we might ask the birthday party if we could borrow theirs. So when we were there, I went up to Nick Cave and Tracy Pugh.
Tracy Pugh, yeah.
Is it Stacey or Tracy?
It's Tracy.
Tracy Pugh.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it was Tracy.
Yeah.
And they were sitting down drinking, and what happened? Oh yeah, I said, "Can I use your bass amp? Because I don't have one, and I need one to play live or whatever, you know." So yeah. They said £15 it'd be.
Oh, no.
And that's all I was getting paid for the night, for the show, was £15.
Oh, man.
So I had to give them my £15.
They wanted their next bag to fix.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah.
Right.
Looking for an easy way to get
I
the
heard
score.
Ivo was like kind of like after a minute they were just too rowdy for him.
I don't know. I've never been a big fan, so we played another show after that, and we went on last and they went on first.
I'm sure old Nick is a lot easier to hang out with than young Nick was.
I
Yeah.
don't know. He looks kind of pissed off when I see him in photos.
So Nick was kind of a dick, I guess.
I can't. That's the way I look at it.
Well, I mean, but seriously though, they were all raging junkies at that time period. Though, like,
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
But you can't blame that on them.
right? Well, yeah. It doesn't help your
Time and
personality
place.
to be a junkie, though.
Well, true.
Yeah. They weren't at their best
Well,
emotionally.
Tracy went and died, didn't he? So,
yeah, I think it was from complications to an epileptic seizure.
oh, he was. Okay.
But
Well,
I'm sure the heroin didn't help.
No, probably not. Probably not.
they lost a lot of people, didn't they? Where else was there? Howard.
Roland S. Howard's still alive.
Oh, he is? Oh, okay. I thought he died. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He was a great guitar player, though.
But, I've never been a big fan of theirs ever since, really.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Roland is dead.
Did they actually make you pay
Roland
out?
died in 2009.
Yeah, I gave him.
They did?
Yeah, I gave him £15.
Man. 15 pounds, which is nothing anyways. And
It
then,
was
like,
nothing really, but it was a lot.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't nothing. If in comparisons, it would be like 50 bucks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But like that was like all you were getting. It's like, yeah, here, you got to give that to me so you use my fucking bass amp. Like,
It's like when we played with Lee Perry. We played a show with Lee Perry at Dingwalls, and this was probably 6 or 7 years later, and we were backing him, and he had another backing band that did all his main stuff, and we was doing the songs that we recorded with him, which were about 4 or 5 songs, and the place was sold out. And his manager said, "Oh, I'll give you £5 each."
oh my god!
And Lee Perry talked to the guy, and someone talked to Lee Perry, and from our band, I think it was Dave, and he said, and then he got me in the room and said, "Lee says he wants to give you £15, like it was like a big deal." You know?
right. You're really upping it
£15
here.
like really
Yeah,
fucking
geez.
sucks
Well,
back then.
thanks, Lee.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So,
Yeah.
and I posted something today on Facebook, and I was like, "Why is it so hard? Why is it so? What's the word I used? I'm trying to think. Why is it so sacrilege for people to ask for money when they play, but it's okay for them to play for free?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it? Why in the music business is it so sacrilege to talk about money?
Brother, you are preaching to the
Yeah.
choir.
Exactly.
Yeah. No fucking doubt. No
But
fucking doubt.
I mean, we're pretty much all volunteer.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying
All for the
anything
love. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
nothing. I'm
No,
not taking
no,
it
no.
negatively.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
saying like
We
fully
identify.
we
Yeah.
understand.
Because I've done shows where, like in Louisville as well, where they say to me, well, you do the show and we'll get you back later. And
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
like it'd be good for you. You get exposure.
Exposure, of course.
That's
yeah,
a really,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a big
yeah.
one, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. That's the fucking line. You know, you'll get exposure. Like, great.
I played headliners for like $20, man.
Wow, fuck.
Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not big fans of local. I'm not going to mention their name.
No, you're good. You're good.
Except for us.
Our culture doesn't.
Okay, production's simple. Production,
Oh, okay.
they suck. You can edit that out. You can edit that one. But I don't know. I was thinking the other day, if someone wants me to play live, am I going to come out of my house now for less than like $100? You know,
I feel
$100
that.
sounds like a lot, but it's really nothing. To
I mean, it's nothing for your storied career, man. I mean, shit, you know?
Right.
I mean, looking as outsiders of looking at me, right? Like, I'm nowhere like star or whatever, you know. But someone like Peter Hook, right, who played like he plays headliners and does.
I was at that show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Unknown Prejudice.
It was a
Yeah.
great show,
Yeah.
actually.
It was a great show.
And I'm really. I mean, I saw Joy Division, the original Joy Division, like 2 or 3 times, man. So
That's amazing.
And they were before my time for musically. I mean, like in progression of like me joining Dif Juz and being in Dif Juz. But I would consider myself, if I look at it, someone who would really be his contemporary in a way, you know.
Absolutely.
But he's out there doing shows like that. Well, they got more fame than us anyway. I mean, they're much more famous than Dif Juz, but I can't see how. I feel like I'm always looked over, you know. And I've always thought that about my life.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know. And
I'm a collector of obscure 80s bands. Like, there's bands that put out 1 7-inch or 1 demo tape. There's all kinds of. I mean, there's just. I guess over the past 15 years, there's been like labels like Dark Entries in San Francisco or Minimal Wave.
Sure. Sure.
All kinds of
medical records. Yeah.
medical. Those are some of the American ones, but there's all kinds in Europe. You just find all these hidden jewels of like bands that just no one at the time they could not give away their stuff.
Yeah.
I've talked to bands like where I've like found members. I've stalked them online pretty much. And they're like, yeah, we threw away most of our copies because we just got tired of like carrying them around.
damn.
And
Wow.
no one wanted them. But now like on eBay, they're like, they could sell for like, $7 or $80 a piece.
yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, it's John Bender. I mean, for mine, and I remember talking to him. I've known him for a very long time, and he was producing stuff, early '80s minimal synth stuff. He could get no traction with it. I remember him telling me he had stacks of his own records in the basement, and then last couple of years he gets picked up by Vinyl on Demand and a couple other labels, and again this goes back to this sort of cult status. I think that's some bands have kind of ended up achieving down the road, but at the time, like you said, can't give it away to a degree.
I guess I always look at it like I guess we weren't marketable. Dif Juz weren't really marketable, because of the lack of a singer and stuff like that as well, man.
Well, and back then it was truly alternative. Like the culture's changed with technology.
They called us indie because there was it was a chart and and it was an independent label. I mean,
yes.
So we were considered like an indie band or whatever.
Right.
I think that it's even worse now, though. Like, I'm going to jump in and defend as a venue owner. Like
venue owner.
Oh yeah, yeah.
when you
You're big time, man. Wow, you're
Are you
fancy.
now?
Yeah,
actually we're not.
Be rich.
Big guy with the big pants.
It's all everything here is like donated pretty much.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if as a band, like, we have to turn on the air conditioning and the heat, it's a big space. I mean, if you can't bring at least 50 to 100 people, we're losing money.
Yeah. With the amount that costs to fucking turn that shit
Right.
on.
We got to pay for security. We got to pay for a sound guy.
Door person.
We got to pay
Have you
for.
heard of that place that was on market. What was it called?
Dreamland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dreamland. Yeah.
I DJ down there and I got like 2 people come.
No, and that's why they're closed. Though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think they got people going down there.
I'm like,
Well, but people go out less and less now. They stay home and play. They stay home and play video games. They don't care about coming out and seeing your band.
That was, I mean, I actually, I was mentioning John Bender, and I actually had him come down here and play at Dreamland, and I think I lost my buddy.
we were there.
We was probably 40 people there, maybe.
Nah,
I don't even know
there
that.
wasn't that many people.
Maybe 20 people. I mean, it was nothing.
Maybe 20.
You know? I mean,
I'm thinking 15.
yeah, it was pretty sparsely attended.
There might have been like 25 throughout the night.
If you count
people
staff.
work there.
Yeah, right.
There's a couple people that came there and like, okay, they stayed for like 10 minutes. Like, oh,
Right, yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I've DJ'd there, and a couple of times they tried to get me to do a dub night down there because I'd collect like reggae and dub vinyl.
Fuck yeah.
So I've done it down there, and like I had like 1 or 2 people turn up. Man, it was horrible, dude.
Yeah.
One man and his dog, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and it's that way in all the arts now. I mean, it's like I just did an art show, and I got a great review, and I had great response. But I mean, I didn't make any money. I didn't sell anything, you know. But I think it's to a point where we're just doing it because we love it, whether it's music or art or whatever.
It's important for your soul.
And this comes back to what we were talking about when they were taking a smoke break. We need a universal basic income in this country, man.
Yeah.
I mean, then artists aren't so desperate, and you can actually be creative. It's not like we're lazy. We want to work. We want to do things. We want to make things. But
actually,
we're starving to death. You know.
yeah, we have to work harder to be able to do what we want to
I
do.
told Brian that I used to work at Walmart, dude. I mean, I've worked crappy jobs, man. I've worked as a janitor all my fucking life, on and off.
Yeah.
I don't anymore because I won't do it anymore because I'm fucking burnt out on it. But
I've done everything you can do in a restaurant, so I'm right there with you. From service to dishwasher to I've been a dishwasher. You know, and that was the price I paid in the late '80s being a dishwasher because I looked crazy. You know, it's like we could put this crazy guy in the dish room. Nobody will see him. They weren't going to let me out front, you know, because I looked weird.
I always wanted to do jobs that I was like never had much social contact with people.
Right.
So working as a janitor or as a dishwasher, you don't have to deal with people. You know?
Yeah.
Well, getting into the clubs was a revelation for me. You know, it's like, oh wow. So if I work here, I can be who I want to be. Sure. I don't have to be what they want me to be. But the lifestyle in that'll kill you too.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
it's a hard
you know,
one.
it was back and forth, and it's like
I used to party 7 days a week, man. You know.
Yep.
Feel it. Yeah.
When punk first happened, I was 15, and I saw the Sex Pistols on the Bill Grundy show, and I said, well, I want to be like them, man. And I was 15 years old, and I wanted the next day I wanted to dye my hair blue. So, you know,
Yeah.
had spiky hair, and then I got involved in going out and see bands, and you could see a good show any day of the night, a free band at a pub, and you'll see I saw all Disney and the Banshees and the Slits and and the Sex Pistols. I saw all those bands before they ever put a record out. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was like that was my kind of like school for me, you know, in a way.
I mean, so you were in London in the 70s.
Yeah.
70s. I mean,
76,
to me that was
that's
the best.
magic, man.
That is magic.
That's magic.
I'm like, I wish I could be in that brain to hear it and see it.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
77 to 78 was a really good time, man.
Yeah.
79.
Yep.
And then they all sold out because they all signed to big labels,
And you know,
I know why they sold out, because of money. But,
right, when I was 25, I wouldn't have sold out, but you asked me now, I mean, I'd be like, okay, man, whatever.
And then you'd have your side project. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean I'm going to
my
get
side
paid to
project.
play? I mean,
You know, and I mean, I think,
whatever.
I mean, there's obviously, you know, I mean, in certain situations, you know, the sellout factor is, you know, okay, you're going to go to a label who's going to respect you and say, we give you complete creative control to what the fuck you're doing. I mean, and I think there was probably part of that in 4AD, I would imagine. I mean,
Well, I mean, it was whole creative control.
yeah.
I mean, we could do what we wanted as long as Ivo listened to it and he said he liked it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he didn't like it, he wouldn't put it out. You know?
How often did that happen where he didn't like it?
Nothing with Dif Juz. The only thing that he didn't really like was the Lee Perry stuff because he didn't get on with Lee Perry, so that was the whole hold up. He didn't want to release that after it was recorded, and that's why it got put on the 4AD shelves.
It needs to be digged out and thrown up into fucking online or whatever.
Exactly.
I think that was, and also the whole issue of that was, I think it's because Lee Perry and Ivo didn't get along, you know, when they met. So,
How was your guys' reaction in the press early on, like far as like reviews and?
we got pretty well. They do press kits with like Sounds and Enemy and Melody Maker. We're approached by Enemy to do a interview, and I think we did it with them, and they never pressed it. And there was another time where we got our Sounds interview pressed, and that was okay. So we got a pretty good reception from that. And then Melody Maker said one guy come and saw us play, and they talked about how we looked rather than the music, and he was like, "Oh, nice eye." Not a handsome one among them, but the drummer had nice eyebrows. And that kind of pissed me off.
Yeah.
And they didn't talk about the music, which is the most important thing.
Exactly.
Was that like after like the LP or like, or was that in the early days when you just had like 2 12-inch EPs out?
That was after that was when Attractions had come out, but the Enemy and Sound stuff was about the 2 12-inches, but they were reviewing but they got reviewed. I wish I had some of those clips actually. They reviewed the 12 inches as well in the record releases, which are normally pretty good reviews because once we were compared to U2 and then Robert Fripp and
Oh shit.
which was pretty good with Robert Fripp. I'm not too sure about U2.
Early U2 was actually interesting.
Yeah, I liked them.
I don't like U2 now, but in the like Boy and October when they were raw
I
and
agree. I
not
agree
so
with that statement.
overproduced,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean that stuff was good. And it's the same with like bands like Simple Minds and stuff. Like their early stuff is cool, but they became stuff I didn't like.
Right.
But and it's the same with a lot of the pop world. You know, it's like there was a lot of great bands that started off great and then they weren't great because just like you said, they sold out.
They had to conform.
I guess I was just being punk when I used to say that they sold out because that was the punk thing to say.
It's fun to be punk when you're 20.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I was
you
15.
go dumpster diving and whatever
Ramen
you
noodles.
need to do. Yeah, ramen noodles, whatever.
Yeah.
Whiskey for breakfast.
Yes.
Right. But it does get a little different now.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you got to pay your bills.
Right.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be uncomfortable. Yeah.
Squatting at 20 is a lot easier than squatting at 50.
Yeah.
We went to see, when I was about 15 or 16, went to Swansea and Wales to see Adam and the Ants
I love that.
when they were a punk band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the show, we had we didn't have any money because we got in for free and everything, and we slept. We found this old deserted car, so we slept in this old deserted car with no blankets, and we were freezing cold. And then a policeman come and knocked on it in the morning and said, "What are you doing in there?" And we were like, "Oh, sleeping." And he said, "You got to go," and so we left.
So how many people would attend like Adam and the Ants back then? What was
Probably
that like?
about 30 or 40.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
It kills me.
So, I mean,
Mind blowing.
I just saw Adamant a few years ago in Nashville.
at?
Yeah,
Oh, he was a lot
Yeah, he
better.
did a great job. I mean, it was really great, and
I like him, man.
yeah.
So I wish Brian Cole was here, just because he's working with bands right now that like as the venue person, like we're trying to promote a lot of this music, and when we get 30 or 40 people, it's kind of like, come on, just a few more people, come
Right.
on, but to think that Adamant was drawing 30 or 40
I
people.
know, and it kills me.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
But I mean, that
I
says
felt
something.
sorry for them because what really ruined it back then was like Skinheads would turn up and Skinheads would start beating up all the punks.
Yeah, that sucks.
And
And I
I've
did that
seen-
into the
yeah,
90s
yeah.
too.
I saw all that
I saw
stuff
some of that
happen,
too.
man. And it was, they did it. I remember Adam Yant's show, and I knew the Skinheads because I grew up with them. They were all punks originally, and then they turned into Skinheads and became idiots and racist and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
fuck that.
Yeah,
And,
it's not good.
They ruined everything.
Yeah,
They just smashed out the place, and poor old Adam was like, you know, I mean, it's horrible.
yeah.
Now we have a skinhead for president.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
I think
doubt.
you're right. Sounds about right, right? Yeah.
With the toupee on.
Yeah. Seriously.
Why doesn't he just embrace his baldness?
Yeah.
It's a disguise.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Boris
he's
Johnson.
so vain, isn't he?
Oh, he's
Oh, man,
awful.
jeez.
Blech. Just makes
Can't
me.
say enough bad shit about that fucker.
No, I know. We
For
could,
real.
we could have a whole show about that.
We were just talking about those poor people from the refugees from the Bahamas standing on shore and they're turning them away. It's
Oh
like,
my god.
oh my God, you know, they just need some fresh water, man. I mean, I don't want to get off on politics on this,
No,
but
I
it's
know,
like,
I know,
I
I
can't
know.
help it sometimes in this world we're in right now. And it's
It's
100
awful.
degrees in the middle of September.
I know.
You know, it's like, come on.
But there's no such thing as global
Oh, I
warming.
know. Come
Yeah.
on.
I asked, I asked Sean, have you heard of the girl from Denmark, Greta Thunberg? And she came over here on a boat because she didn't want a carbon footprint. And
No.
she's a young girl, she's about 15, she has Asperger's.
Okay.
And she's trying to say, you know, I'm a kid and this is our world, this is our future. And
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a lot of years ahead of her, and
Yeah.
these other old bastards running the world are, you know, they're
I think they've
they're
given
about to
up.
leave.
I don't-
Yeah, no, that's exactly why there's no conscience there because they don't care.
You'd think they'd at least care about their kids and grandkids, though. Jesus.
I don't know.
I mean, come on.
I don't
I don't know
think they
either.
care,
You know,
dude.
it's
Yeah, they're just sociopaths.
Yeah, I think
sociopaths,
so. I think so.
Narcissists.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck about anything
Yeah,
but fucking
yeah.
money and themselves.
Yeah,
So, you know,
exactly.
it's just fucking.
And then
is what it
they
is.
have enough money to pass on to their families, so they don't care. You know.
Well, yeah,
Like,
sure.
They can go underground
Yeah.
or
I think
go
with
to
Trump-
space
Yeah,
or whatever
build their
they need
fucking
to.
bunker, and you know.
I think
Yeah.
with Trump, he just likes people to lick his ass, dude.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure, man, for sure. Yeah, he really does. Gross.
He likes to. He gets off on that shit. Man.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He does.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You know,
It's
speaking
okay.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
No,
Awesome.
I've been cussing the whole fucking time.
No, we're not censored.
Okay, well that's
Yeah.
Not censored at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
I'll just say right here, we hate that motherfucker. So
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's
Don't
across
worry
the
about it.
board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hashtag fuck Trump. So.
That's right.
But speaking of 70s punk, you know, it's like we could use some of that radical, like God Save the Queen type attitude. Right
Yeah,
now,
and energy.
right now.
Yes,
Yeah, some of that
yeah.
energy coming back in.
Yeah.
Fascist regime, right? You know.
I
Yeah,
think there's plenty of people that could do that, man. You know.
Yeah.
yeah. It's definitely.
But I mean, I posted something on Facebook again the other day. Facebook is like my connection to the world for some reason. I don't know why. The thing was how music nowadays all sounds like it's from America's Got Talent.
That's great.
There's lots of stuff in the underground that comes out.
Yeah, there still is.
But
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of great stuff.
That sounds like
underground.
it came out like 85,
Yeah.
84.
Right.
Can you give any examples of what you mean by that? Like, can you think of?
I
I don't
guess-
know.
I don't even know any new bands.
Even like
either.
regular.
Do you mean like what's on the pop radio?
Like Imagine.
Or, okay.
Like Imagine
It's kind of always
Dragons or
been that way,
something.
hasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Sure,
so, but
I
in
think
the
it's
underground,
it's pushed more so these days. You know, what I mean, I think it's much more of a monetary base. I mean, not like it hasn't always been, but I feel like
This is the late
in the 80s, you know, in the 80s, when there's a lot of creative control for these really, really talented artists. You know, to be able to do what they want, and I think record labels respect that. Now it almost seems formulaic and fucking
Definitely.
I think it
focus
started-
groups and all this
studio
fucking
music.
I
bullshit.
think that
too,
really
yeah.
started in the 80s, man, because like
Yeah.
what happened, I mean, you had the
especially
punk
late
thing.
80s.
And
that's
and-
it's
and-
when the money
Yeah.
came
Yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah. This
It's
is
when the
fair
money
point.
came
Well,
in.
Yeah, the 80s was a hellish time in England,
Yeah.
man. It was horrible, man.
Well, if you look
Yeah.
at the like the Human League and listen to the Martin Ware era,
Mm-hmm.
and then versus like I'm Only Human elevator music.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Because
I know.
You can look back
It's-
on that, like,
I know it's a little sad. Yeah.
you can look back on that Human League stuff because their first stuff was like punk.
It was
but
great.
It was,
That's what I'm-
yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
early
that's what we're
shit
saying, the
and all
difference.
Stuff was great.
Yeah.
Being Blood was
Yeah.
great, and I like.
Travelogue and fucking, you know, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I even loved. I think Dare was a great album, even though it was mainstream.
Yeah.
But like, it just kept getting worse and worse.
Right.
You know, by the end, it was just like, oh, come on.
I don't think that
know.
exemplifies
Vanilla.
everything in the
I
80s. So, I
know.
mean, you
Oh,
think
you
of
think-
bands like Depeche Mode, and I think
Was
you know,
vanilla
they
with
had
2
pretty
pounds of
good
sugar.
creative control throughout, and weren't necessarily. I mean, granted, they were poppy and whatnot, but I do feel like they had sort of a unique sound. I mean, The Cure, I think had that
I think
too.
Depeche Mode and
Yeah.
The Cure were kind of exceptions.
I agree. I would agree with that statement. I would agree with that
I mean,
statement.
I know they got big, but they kind of held their own sound. Like, there's no era for me of Depeche Mode that I think just blows.
Hey, it was still-
There's,
I was
there's
in the
some
room
that's
with-
better. some that's new. Some that's better than others.
Yeah.
Well, like The Cure, I can't say. I'm hopeful for their new album.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
I think
'cause
he's trying to go dark
I think so
again.
too. That's what
Yeah.
I've read. Yeah. Did you ever see the early Cure shows? You didn't? Yeah, you weren't into that sound
I
so
like
much.
the Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that had to influence 4AD some, though.
I would imagine.
I mean, because they were out before.
Yeah, they were
Cocteau Twins.
Yeah.
79, I think, maybe 80 for
79.
79, 78, three Imaginary Boys. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
early.
79.
79, yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah.
sound had to have affected.
The last thing that really, I mean, the thing that really influenced me and all of the jazz was Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, with the bass playing of Joe Wobble
Oh wow, yeah,
was a really big influence on me.
yeah.
And that's where you got. I mean, I know you're into dub a lot too, and that
Yeah.
Jaw Wobble was kind of like in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always regard myself as second in line to him. But, and I got to meet him as well, and I was like, "Oh, I was a big fan of yours." He's going, "Oh, we're all into reggae and stuff." I was like,
Yeah.
He had a cool dance remix. It's kind of a dancey song. It's from, I can't think of what it's called. It's from like probably like 83 or so. I can't think of what it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
with Hogazuki and
If I heard it, I would. I can't
the
think of
guys
the song.
from Can. He
Okay.
did it with Can.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Snake Charmer.
I can't think of the name of the song. If I heard it, I would know it. But
Okay. Is it Betrayal?
I don't know. off the top of
Can
my
you hum
head.
it? Hum it.
If I look it up. You can go ahead. I mean, I'll see. Like,
You'll find it. Yeah. You did this
I had
twice.
to go
You
back and
stumped
even
him
look at Roland
twice.
S. Howard.
Like-
I'm actually feeling kind of sad. I just found out 10 years later that Roland Howard is dead.
Aw.
I may have even known then, but
Yeah.
I was just reading it saying that he had hepatitis C, which probably did come from his
Yeah.
heroin use.
Yeah.
probably.
Remember? Is that the name of the song?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking about. It's like,
Yeah, I think that's where the guy from Can. A couple guys
Yeah,
from Can.
but I can't. I don't know. My phone's like.
Love Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
That's the one I remember about
And-
them.
And as far as like the post punk dark wave sound of today, is there anybody that you listen to that you like?
From back in the day? Or
No,
modern?
today, modern.
Oh, we could
I
play
like
you some
Mogwai.
stuff.
Mugwai?
Yeah.
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 I really like Mogwai, man.
Yeah.
But they're a bit dated as well, no, aren't they?
What else do you listen to? I mean, what do you kind of, generally speaking, listen to these days?
Well, I try and listen to everything, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I like Mogwai. I like I like a lot of jazz. I'm more like reggae and dub, but
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
not so much the modern stuff. Some of it I like, but everything seems regurgitated to me nowadays.
It's kind of derivative. I mean, I'm probably with you. I mean, as far as like the older reggae dub stuff, I'm just kind of stuck in Trojan and fucking Studio One shit. A lot of the older stuff, 60s, 70s, Rocksteady, earlier stuff, ska. But
yeah. I guess I don't really venture much out into. I go for a little. I like Bowie a lot, and I like.
Oh, man.
I like that Black Star album a lot.
man, what a fucking great album.
I like Lou Reed. I like Iggy and all those guys.
Fuck yeah.
It's all people who were able to sell out without selling out.
Yeah,
No doubt, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
And so you're still playing out live occasionally, and
yeah. Every now and then, trying to play out live again, and I just see I can't play in a band now, and I haven't done for the last 5 or 6 years. I sit down and practice songs, so I just do improv, and I'm working with a guy from DC band. He was in DC bands. Chris Bald. I don't know if any of you know him. Local guy. He's from DC, and he plays like punk and he used to play punk, but he grew up in the DC scene, and I jam with him a lot, and we're finding it hard to find a drummer to keep. I think we talked about this, didn't we? There goes my Alzheimer's.
The never-ending search for a fucking drummer.
I don't think we were on recording when we were talking about that.
Oh, maybe not. Okay, well,
yeah,
Drum machine.
yeah.
there you go. Yeah, come on.
Well, I do my own stuff. I should have brought some records along. I only got given 5 though, dude. So I just had a 7-inch come out, and it's just me on bass and looping kind of beats and stuff.
Nice.
Nice. We want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll need to get you a copy of
You
it.
should.
Yeah.
So I didn't realise how many people was going to be here, and I didn't want to bring one and say, here's one.
We can share.
Oh, it's all good.
Oh,
We
man,
can
we could share. Yeah,
Yes.
seriously.
And I only got 5 copies.
Wow.
And I think the guy's done a rip me off or something somehow. He's putting them up and selling them. He's in Germany, and I have no idea because I haven't heard from him since it's been out. And, and it's a bit shady at the moment for me. And I don't want to contact him till I get some evidence against him.
Fuck.
We could rip that sucker to digital format and everybody could have it.
Yeah.
Well, it's on digital, man.
Is it?
There you go.
Is it on Bandcamp?
Yeah.
Is it on
Can you tell
Bandcamp
us
or
where
on
it's at?
iTunes?
It's on
or-
Bandcamp.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, great. We'll listen.
Look under Gary Bromley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on it.
Was like pressed on a German label.
Yeah. The guy's from like Peru or Chile or something originally, and he lived
Okay.
in like
Berlin or something. Or...
Dusseldorf.
Okay.
And well, I just had that came out about 2 or 3 months ago.
No shit.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool because I was glad I got some vinyl out, but
That's great.
You have a pretty big vinyl collection?
not really. I mean, I've quite a lot. Yeah, 7 inches. I like 7 inches a lot.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
I like putting them on and then flipping them over, and it's. I mean, for reggae, it's good because like you got the dub version on the other side. So.
Yeah.
That is. I have a good friend in Cincinnati who literally that's his thing. I mean, he plays out reggae nights, and it's just endless 7 inches is what he collects them, and he fucking plays them, and yeah, totally. So
there's a lot of good stuff that was released that you can't get anywhere.
it's hard to find, and it's fucking expensive, and you get Discogs, and you're paying big bucks for it, but you know.
Yeah. I think the most I ever played for 7 inch was like $75.
I believe it.
And that was 10 years ago, dude.
I know. What's the highest you paid?
Yeah, what is the highest you paid, Matt?
Not maybe like 150.
Okay.
So not like crazy, but
Yeah.
Was that a punk thing? Or
I mean, like it's like post-punk goth stuff. I mean, like our minimal synth. It's probably a minimal synth record. Cause I call that early like bands who are trying to sound like Human League, but they just bought their synthesizers as teenagers.
Yeah.
And they managed to get enough money to press.
Can you name?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
name a band that you bought?
Well, Fast South Axis,
Okay.
the first like they're a good example of one of those type bands.
have you got a band called The Models?
I
know
the
that is.
Models,
I know who
yeah.
that is.
They were like the first band that I went to see with. Well, I went to see a local band first, but I wouldn't really say I was only in there for like half an hour. But
Yeah.
the first band I went to see was Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers,
No shit.
The Models, and Susie and the Banshees all on
Wow.
Oh
stage.
shit. Wow.
That's awesome.
And how lightly attended was that show?
I've seen Susie.
How lightly attended
Yeah,
was that
not
show?
like that.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
people there.
Oh, okay, well, that's
no.
good.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really full up, but it was,
Yeah. It wasn't 3 people though.
No.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Thunders come on stage, like the music
Oh, man.
starts playing, you hear the music, and the curtains open, and the band's on stage, and then Johnny Thunders comes on, and there's a big glass window
Fuck.
on the stage, and there's a paint brush and a bucket of paint, and then Johnny Thunders gets paint and paints across the window, like it was about that size, the size of those blood doors.
Oh,
And
shit.
he put LAMF on there. Then he goes to the front of the stage, picks up a brick and throws it.
That's awesome.
I just got to see the New York Dolls.
And then he starts singing, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. He was wild one.
I like them, man. I like Heartbreakers, man.
Great. I'm a Dolls fan. I got to see them
did?
about 6-7 years ago. Yeah, they toured with Motley Crue, and then they came back around in Cincinnati and toured, and they played at this really small venue, general admission, and they had fucking Earl Slick playing with them. Yeah, and it was one of the best rock and roll shows I've ever seen. I was 5 feet away. I mean, and only like literally maybe 100 people showed up for it. And I'll tell you, for as long as they've fucking been playing, they were on top of that shit. I mean, a great fucking show. Great fucking show.
Was David Johansen playing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was it,
And Sil Sylvain.
still alive?
What's that?
Was Thunders still alive?
No.
No, but Sil Sylvain was playing too. As a matter of fact, I got Sil Sylvain's guitar pick. He tossed that to me, which is kind of cool.
Oh,
So-
wow.
Oh, that's cool.
But
But the Models went on to do Mass,
I like Mass,
because my best friend was in Mass. He was a drummer.
They're like not commercial friendly at all.
No.
No, but I do.
But it's a new interest in them now.
I mean, it's very like murky shit. I mean, just
Well, the Models went on to do Rima,
yeah.
and then Mick Allen and Mark Cox
I think there's another band of the Models that are more popular than this band.
yeah.
and then they went on to do Mass, and then Mick Allen and Mark Cox went on to do Wolfgang Press,
Yeah.
and then Gary Asquith and Danny Briate from Mass went on to do Renegade Soundwave.
Oh yeah, I know them too.
And I grew up with Danny Briate because I met him when I was 15, and we went to see shows together and stuff.
Yeah. I like Mass. It has no commercial appeal at all.
No, I mean they're really doom and gloom, dude.
Yeah, but that's the shit I love. That's the kind of stuff I look for. Is like these
Yeah.
like super depressing bands that were like, like probably 16.
They
at the
got to be
time.
like one of the most depressing to me.
What's your DJ name again?
Sorrow.
The French and like I found like, there's a lot of cool UK bands. The French and Italian bands or some like the darkest, coldest stuff. But
You like dark metal?
No.
not really in the metal. I like some. I can tolerate some black metal, but I'm not really in
No.
metal.
We played with like this band, and I can't. When I was in the children, and we played at Uncle Pleasant's, and they were like a metal band, but they were like just like intro. Like every song sounded like an intro. They went down, and they just did that for like a whole song, dude.
Yeah.
But then I thought, whoa. And they did it for like
You're like, when's the
10
song?
different songs.
Like, get into it. Like,
Yeah. Like the intro to a Black Sabbath song, but it just never takes off. It's like
and they had like 10 songs like that. Man. And we were opening up. I think we opened up from there. It was to now going back to like, you'll get good exposure.
yeah.
thanks,
Hashtag
man.
fuck you, whatever.
But even the bigger bands, other than Dead Can Dance and Cocteau Twins,
I upset.
nobody got that big, did they? Like
On 4AD?
Clan of Zymox. I mean, they're still not that big.
Bauhaus.
I mean,
Bauhaus for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some probably more mild successes.
Nick Cave did
Modern
eventually.
Modern English.
Number one in the British
No doubt, no
pop
doubt.
charts.
I saw the Breeders early on.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I hung out with Kim. and-
Cool.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
are
she was
from
super.
Dayton,
She
yeah.
was super nice. Yeah.
I met the Pixies.
Yeah.
They seemed okay.
Yeah.
Wolfgang
They're
Press never
talented.
got very big, though, did they?
Oh,
Wolfgang Press never got like really big over here.
they didn't get big in.
I mean, Birdwood Cage was probably their biggest album that I can remember, but
I think Queer was a big one for them.
I remember seeing the like on like 120 minutes back in like the early mid 90s.
I love the. I mean, I've liked them
early-
since.
I like
maybe
their-
their
Me too.
first
It's the
seven.
early
Huge fan.
stuff. But I don't know. It just has such a different feel compared to so many other bands. That's why
They're pretty unique. They're
They
pretty
are
unique.
to me. I mean, I still play them.
Who's that?
The.
Oh, what's the name? The main guy's name again?
Something Johnson, maybe?
Matt Johnson.
Is it
right?
Matt? Yeah, Matt Johnson.
yeah, your name.
You should have known that one, dude.
That's funny.
So, this Mortal Coil, were you around that period much?
Well, I got paid to do. I was advanced $500 by Evo, £500 rather, which is about $700. Because I wanted to buy some music equipment, and he gave me some like £500, and I think he was going to use me to be a session on something around that time, and he never did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. Might be because I was ill. I don't know. I can't remember why. But
You got paid?
yeah, I didn't have to pay it back. So
That's awesome.
That's good. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
then I tried to get him to give me more money.
Yeah. No amp rental fee.
The Curtis brothers were on Filigree and Shadow, though, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Dif Juz was on one of their albums. Well, it was Filigree and Shadow, I think.
Richard Thomas was on one of them.
Okay, the sax.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, the sax.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He went on to tour with Jesus and Mary Chain, who I pissed off.
You pissed them off? Yeah, how's that?
I was drunk, and they were playing at Town and Country Club, I think, and when I get drunk, I get a bit loud, and that's probably why I don't drink anymore. But they said, I said, "Oh, why?" I've been told by Dave Curtis that one of them had said that Dif Juz were an art rock band, so that kind of pissed me off because I don't think we were art rock. And I couldn't tell you why I got pissed off about that, but so I said, well, you sounded like you're a rehash of the Velvet Underground. With your sunglasses and stuff.
And clearly that went over well. So.
It cleared the room.
Yeah.
It was easy to breathe once again.
I'm surprised they didn't start fighting each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
I don't know if you're Jesus and Mary Chain fans, but
I am. I saw
like some
him,
of
I
his
saw
stuff
him
for
a couple
sure,
years
but-
ago.
yeah.
Yeah. But I listened to him when I was a teenager a lot.
yeah. Well,
When we wind this down, I do think I'm going to play your new track. It looks like it came out August 13th, 2019.
oh Lord, don't get me embarrassed now.
No, we're playing it.
Yes.
We're going to end the show with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I have a story about Deccan Dance.
Yeah.
We played with them, and people must fucking hate me for some reason. Because Lisa had laryngitis, and then she was singing that night, and she asked everybody to not smoke in the room. And when I was smoking in the I said, fuck that, I'm smoking in the dressing room, because she put up a sign. Someone put up a sign and said, no smoking in the dressing room, and I was smoking in the dressing room, and I think I must have pissed her off, dude. So that was my story.
What did she say? What did she say to you?
She didn't say anything, man.
She just gave you an evil look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If looks could kill.
Staring daggers,
Yeah.
you know.
And I look at her now and I think, what a beautiful woman she is.
Yeah. I actually I saw them in the early 90s in Chicago at the Vic.
That's awesome.
She is stunning.
Yeah.
It's almost intimidating. Like,
And I've just
she-
recently got into their
she's
music.
so her voice is so beautiful.
Her
too.
voice
Like,
is just,
Yeah.
it's just like
incredible.
Her presence.
Yeah.
Her presence. Yeah.
is definitely like.
I just
wow,
got into her
wow.
music as well, man.
Yeah.
I've been listening to her a lot, and ever since I heard the soundtrack for Gladiator, and there's such a good song on that, man, on Gladiator, and I was like,
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten she. Yeah. Right.
and I mean, that's such a good song, I think. And,
Yeah.
So I listened, so I thought, well, I'm going to go out and buy some more, and I started listening to their albums. So
Yeah.
it was-
Yeah.
I really like them, because I never really appreciated stuff like that back then, man, you know. I was too zoned out on maybe jazz or reggae or something, man.
Sure.
They were
Or
very,
R&B.
very original. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
That time period, how they sounded.
Definitely.
For sure. I mean, I think their first album was
I love their
pretty
first
post punk, and I love their first album. But I think they really got into their own uniqueness in those second, third, fourth
Right.
albums. You know,
Absolutely.
Spleen and Ideal and all that stuff.
I really like
that's
that
my
live
favorite, I
one
think,
they
Spleen
did,
and Ideal.
Into the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that American, what's it? American.
Oh, that track.
Yeah. Know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about.
American Woman.
Oh, fuck. It's. Hold on.
I think, what's his name sings it as well.
Yeah. Brendan Perry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I feel like with the younger generation, though, like
Beautiful song.
it's hard to do anything that's like blows their mind. That's
Yeah.
like super impressive. But I mean,
American Dreaming.
I just remember being a kid in the 80s.
Beautiful
and,
song.
Like,
Yeah, it's a beautiful
I mean,
song.
when I first heard some of that stuff, I was like, this is bizarre. I mean,
Right.
You know, it was like, I've never heard anything like this before.
Well,
and I loved it. But it's like, I just wonder for kids now, like, if they ever have that moment where they're like, what is this?
A little bit, but then it lasts for 5 seconds because they have so much access. Whereas back then we didn't
had to
have that
search
access.
for it.
Yeah,
we had
sure.
to wait.
Yeah.
We had to wait.
And that album,
I just
Well,
remember
I think
waiting
mine
all
was
the
like
time.
a diamond.
Like,
that album
yeah,
was a
it was.
diamond. It's like
I look
it
at
was
my
a gem.
son, and
It's
he's like 23, and everything that he does is centered around his cell phone, man. And
right.
It's so quick.
It's instant access.
They fall in love with the song for 5 seconds and move on to the next.
Right, because you can just totally just look it up right now.
Right.
All those kids all they do now is stream, man. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look how quick people are putting out releases. Bands are putting out releases like so fast.
I
Because
get like a penny for streaming, dude.
No, exactly. That's it's not even a penny.
No,
it's like
I know. It's
0.001.
like,
I was being generous.
but the best, what is the best
About the money
return
that I've done.
Bandcamp? Is that right? Like as far as
Bandcamp, you actually have people purchasing your
exactly,
your music.
but like for instance, per purchase,
it seems to be the artist's favorite.
It seems. I think what is it like 75 cents on the dollar? Is that right?
I mean it's the most generous of any of them.
That's the place that everybody needs to purchase. Is what my point is.
When I'm playing bands on our show or like when we play them here, I mean. When
do you have to buy a license to?
I mean, we have ASCAP and all that. Yeah, I mean, we have to do that. Even what's weird though is like none of the ASCAP money from or BMI, these corporations that are getting all the money from this.
It's not going to the artist.
It's not going to the artist.
Yeah.
It's going to the record labels.
Because I'm playing a lot of times bands that self-release their own shit. You think? Do you think they're like going like find these people in their trailer park?
No.
Right.
Fuck.
Do they live in the trailer park?
But seriously,
I have my own Bandcamp page as well.
I'm on it right now.
Yeah. What's the name of that again?
Are you on my Bandcamp? Oh no, that's not the one I just released though.
Okay.
It's on a different
Is it under a different name?
It's under Gary Bromley.
That's where I'm at.
It should be under. Yeah, scroll down.
It's not worth it.
So Gary was just asking me, and we'll ask you guys too. Here at the end of the show, we'll wrap it up here in a little bit. But he was just asking how I got into 4AD, and maybe you guys have a story too. But I mean, for me, it was just searching for records in general. Rural Kentucky obviously didn't have any dynamic record stores, but my father was a traveling artist, and so we would travel with him, and we got to go to Cincinnati and Atlanta and different cities. And how I first started getting into stuff in general was like follow some guy with a green mohawk into the record store at the mall and just look over his shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking when I'm like 14 years old, you know,
Right.
like I didn't know what I was doing. And like, but I started getting into, earlier when I was, 12, 13, it was more new wave, Flock of Seagulls, Human League, Duran Duran, whatever, Kajagoogoo. But it moved on to, there was no radio.
It was MTV, honestly. Like for me, but in the early 80s, in the early
20 minutes.
No, before that probably because they would.
It was well before 100.
Yeah, no, it was
That was
because
87 or so.
Yeah, that was late. When I was that young, it was definitely it was definitely a progression from. New wave was big enough that it was mainstream, so it was on MTV. But that's what led me to punk, and punk is what led me to death rock. And death rock's what got me more into goth. So I went from a Flock of Seagulls to Sisters of Mercy pretty quick. You know,
yeah. And for me, it was Adam and the Ants because I was very much inspired by them when I saw them on American Bandstand. I think in '79 it was like 79, 80 maybe. And then I was looking for anything that sounded like that after that.
It was still Adam.
Yeah, it was still Adam and the Ants. Yeah. And I looked it up recently on YouTube and found it, and it was their first visit to the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what did it for me, and it changed my world completely. And I think I was 10, maybe.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
my dad was kind of an art school hippie though, so he absolutely he despised punk.
Yeah.
So of course I loved it. It's like when we would put on a Dead Kennedys record or Black Flag or something, he would be like, "Oh, this is the worst."
Yeah. My dad was a jazz drummer, so for him, he was like, "You like this new wave stuff? What?" Like,
how did you get into 4AD?
Well, yeah, it would be from early, it would be from early on on MTV and such, because I was a young girl.
It was more than just MTV.
It was pre-teen. I was pre-teen, so I was listening to everything different that I could hear.
Well, we would drive to Nashville to hang out with people. And I mean, I was a young little skateboarder punk, and like mixtapes was honestly the way everything.
Yeah, mixtapes is how everything.
I mean, it wasn't MTV because I really didn't see MTV for the surface, but like.
No,
where I discovered music was just going to Nashville and just trading mixtapes. Everybody traded tapes.
Well, that's
so
what
I
we
would
did.
date a girl, and she'd give me mixtapes of Christian Death and Joy Division and Virgin Prunes and what. But that's how 4AD came into my life.
Yeah.
It was basically just trading mixtapes.
I dated a girl when I was 15 years old, and her older brother was into 4AD and introduced me to Cocteau Twins and Dead Can Dance. I mean, that was really the initial for me, getting into all that. So, I mean...
And I discovered Joy Division pretty much about 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And then
what year was that?
I was probably,
He's like
95.
Yeah, he's
so.
younger than us.
Yeah, so
and for me, I'm talking like 10, 11, 12. So I couldn't drive anywhere. Like,
so then
Did you listen to radio and it wasn't on the radio or anything?
No.
not so much. No. And then it was mixtapes from there.
when I was young, I used to...
actually, I lived in Cincinnati, and there's a radio station in Oxford called 97X, and they actually did play some stuff, and I got some of my initial getting into some of these bands through that independent college radio station. They played some stuff that I had never heard before, and so that was part of it as well for me.
Well, by the late 80s, too, people were starting to dump off all their vinyl for nothing.
Yeah.
Because they were transitioning to CD, which was a dumb idea.
Well,
Yeah.
we know that now.
CDs are fucking great.
Well, I mean, they'd have a 99-cent record bin, man, and I would just go load up.
Yeah.
I've bought a color box record like that before.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what half of it was.
Yeah.
I would just be like, I know this is like the cool section of the record store.
I would do that at
and
Your Ecstasy.
I would just buy a stack.
But now it's gone in total reverse now. Now people are dumbing
Now
down
records
their
cost a
CDs.
fortune. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
See, I listened to John Peel when I was a kid, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Peel's
That's
awesome.
how I got into all different stuff.
I mean, I prefer the Peel recordings half the time to the actual record.
me too.
Right. Yeah.
And
Slits, the Animans one, Slits.
Yeah.
And all those early Peel records.
Yeah.
Because that's before they were all
Right.
split. And they sounded really good, man.
Yeah.
And so I had to pay a lot of money for that. Like,
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How much
yeah.
did you pay for that?
I mean, I was, and I was like, a young teenager. I was paying like $30, $40 sometimes for special orders from the UK, so yeah, definitely.
Well, that was another thing in that.
Yeah. I mean, even back then, like it was expensive
My dad
to
was
import.
in a record club.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I mean, that's something.
Columbia House?
It was like Columbia House type something.
Yeah.
It was at a record club, and so I did find through MTV when I was really young,
right.
like Killing Joke and
well, that's what I'm
Susie
talking
and the
about,
Banshees
like
and stuff. But I would order them, and a lot of times they would be on the like slightly damaged list, like part of the cover would be chipped or have a piece taken. Stuff that they used in like radio stations as, I don't know, but I would get them for cheap, and like I would just add on to his, I'd just spend my allowance on fucking records.
Babysitting money.
My lawn mowing. I mean, basically, we didn't eat in high school. When I was younger, we would save our lunch money.
That's what we did. Yeah. I mean, all of my money, I mean, it didn't matter where I worked or what I did. It all went to music. I mean, definitely. Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
No doubt.
I worked in my dad's frame shop for $2 an hour.
Yeah.
Back then, that was like...
Are we recording right now, by the way?
Yeah, we are.
Cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned, or actually I was reading earlier, did John Peel play a demo of yours? Is that kind of how that's sort of like the takeoff on...
John Peel didn't like instrumental music.
Okay.
But then he went on and played dub, and
he did.
I mean, he was playing dub back then, but he didn't like us because he didn't like instrumental music, even though his theme tune was instrumental.
Right.
And
Irony.
apparently that's what I heard. That's what we heard. He didn't like. He played us. He played like "Hey Shoe," that track you played earlier.
Okay.
He played that. And he may have played another one, but basically I think that was it. But he did. I saw a video online of Simon from the Cocteau Twins finding 2 of our 12 inches in the John Peel collection.
No shit.
Because we took one down to the BBC and he was coming out after one of his shows. We took it to give it to him, so we gave him one. So I guess that was one of those that we gave him.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, we didn't have much luck press-wise, man.
It's kind of interesting. Like, I would see like these bands that did like 1 7-inch in the UK, like early '80s, but they somehow managed to get played on John Peel
Yeah.
sessions.
Yeah.
You know, like no one. I mean, like nowadays, like unless you're like some collector of obscure post-punk, new wave, or goth, minimal sense type stuff, you don't. No one hardly knows who they are, but they somehow got played on that show. It's just like
No doubt.
Would you
So
say
no.
modern day equivalent in America is kind of part-time punks, maybe?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Part-time punks, television personalities. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know them.
But so we were talking about how to get his song because you can't buy it on Bandcamp. It's just there. But he said he's going to give us a copy of the
I'll give it to you when you drop
of the
it
vinyl.
Awesome. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, he can
Thank
give
you.
it to Brian, and then we'll rip it to digital format.
Awesome.
And we'll end the show with it.
Great.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure. Sorry, I can't give you one each, but
No, it's
Oh, my God.
you don't-
No,
You got 5 copies, you know.
It's great. Yeah.
one is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seriously. Thank you so
I have
much.
my record player hooked up to my computer, so I rip vinyl all the time on my computer. So
yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
That's very nice of you.
I wasn't meant to bring one along, really.
So we will finish the show out with Gary Bromley's song "Ice," and I do want to thank you so much. It's an honor.
Yeah.
It is an
Yeah.
honor.
Honor and privilege.
thank you. Wow.
Thank you so much for
very
coming out,
heartfelt.
gracing us with your
I'm just
presence.
another
so.
human being, another grain in the sand.
Yeah. Well,
You've had some experience that we haven't, and we
For
appreciate
sure.
hearing about it.
and some serious talent. So,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone.
taking our smoke breaks, we were talking about what a treat it is. Like, I mean, for real. Like, you lived it. We didn't get a chance to do that. Like, that's great.
Radio Arcane.